On a London stage, 50-year-old Michael Jackson has scheduled a news conference in less than 2 hours, and he's expected to announce a series of summer concerts. Well, no doubt our Atika Schubert can hardly contain her excitement. She's at the place the concerts would be held. Is there a sense of excitement at what might be about to be announced, Atika?
Well, there definitely is. We're actually in the O2 Arena, and there's a number of Michael Jackson fans already gathering here. You can see them behind me. Probably maybe about 200 of them. And we've seen people with Michael Jackson jackets, with their T-shirts, with signs that say, "We still love you, Michael," and one or two Michael Jackson impersonators also in the audience. Obviously, they're here waiting for that big announcement. Now, we're not quite sure exactly what the announcement will be. There's been speculation that he will use this to announce a series of concerts here in London. We don't know for sure yet. What we do know is that at this press conference, there will be a small video clip of about 3 minutes of what organizers say is never-before-seen footage of Michael Jackson and an appearance by the man himself. He will appear here, make the announcement briefly, and we'll just have to see what happens next. Charles?
Okay, now this is a man who is deeply in debt. What do you think, really? I mean, it's obviously hard to tell, but do you think there genuinely is the enthusiasm for Michael Jackson, for him to be able to make enough money out of these concerts to pay back his debts and justify all the effort he's got to have to go to?
Well, you know, that's the big question. There are estimates of Michael Jackson's debt being up to $200 million. Certainly the debt for his Neverland Ranch was about $25 million. That's a lot of money that he owes. So this may be a part of paying that money back. In addition to this, of course, he has an auction of his memorabilia that will be happening next month. There's actually an exhibition that's traveling around the world currently in Ireland, showing some of the things that are going up for auction, things like his famous white glove, other art from the Neverland Ranch, for example. So a lot of that kind of stuff will be going up. That may be what Michael Jackson is hoping will generate some income for him, enable him to pay off some of that debt. But again, we don't know exactly what this press conference is for. If it is for that series of concerts, the question is, how much can he make and how much pull does he still have with today's generation?
That's very interesting, isn't it, Atika? Because, I mean, I'm not an expert on Michael Jackson. I'm the first one to admit that. But I've kind of got the impression that actually his creativity has drained away a little bit under the pressure that's come from all of these lawsuits. And I think one can understand that at a human level. But, you know, has he done very much? Is there very much that's new? Will he be the creative artist that he was when he was in his heyday?
There really hasn't been very much that's new, and what little that he has released over the years really hasn't done that well. So this press conference today really is a way of sort of showing the King of Pop is back. It's a comeback of sorts for him, and perhaps a hope that that creativity will kick off again.
Okay, I think we lost Atika Schubert there live from the O2 Arena in London. So, Andrew, over to you.
Thanks, Charles. Well, as you and Atika were saying, is it really just about the money? Because he could certainly do with some. Jackson is he has one of the biggest-selling albums of all time. In fact, the biggest-selling album of all time. Thriller still holds the record for that best-selling album. Forbes estimates the star's debts, though, despite that album, stand at $200 million. Jackson has struggled to keep up financially since his financial empire crumbled following his arrest back in 2003 on child molestation charges that he was eventually acquitted of. Now, here's an example of the singer's past spending habits, just to give you an idea of where that money may have gone. His annual budget in 1999 included $7.5 million for personal expenses, $5 million to maintain that Neverland Ranch. Wow, Maggie.
Yeah,
actually, I'm going to butt in here, actually, because I think I just have to keep coming back to that point that, you know, since his arrest, whenever it was 5 or 6 years ago, 2003, you know, one can well understand that he's just not been the creative artist. He's not had the dynamism, the energy, really the appeal. And it does seem, doesn't he, Maggie, to be a little bit trading on his past successes.
Yeah, and I think that if there's a sense that someone's trying to stage a comeback because they're in financial trouble, it doesn't have the same gravitas or appeal as if there is really sort of this renewed creative spirit or release of a single. In fact, I think the last couple singles he released way back when actually did nothing, and he's competing against a lot of younger people out there, a lot of hit makers. I mean, American Idol, it's a tough go. Everyone loves a comeback story, but I think just there's too much water under the bridge for this one.
I'm gonna put it the other way back. I mean, I still, although I'm not particularly, interested in his music, and I think that he's still an absolutely iconic figure. He's been rare, very kind of reclusive, actually. Concert tours are the big future of music. If you look at the way that Madonna and another big artist, it's not so much the recordings that make them money, it's the big appearances. Now, if he can reinvent himself, then that's great for Michael Jackson.
Yeah, well,
I just need to just come in on this one, guys, because my advice for him would be to tour in somewhere like India, because I remember being in India about 10 years ago, and he was absolutely swamped. He was there when I was there, and they loved him. Anyway, we got to go. We'll be back very soon.